Greetings, barbecue family. Welcome to another live episode of the the Backyard SmokeMaster BBQ Podcast. I'm your host, Kenyatta Robinson, and surprise, surprise, I am joined in person by a very special guest. My lovely wife, Janine, has decided to grace us with her presence back on the podcast for the first time in, I don't know how long.
Oh, okay.
So, we kind of talked about you coming on earlier today, and honestly, I didn't think that you were going to come.
This is my busiest time of the year, and I think you know this. I'm super crazy at work. But since you were talking Thanksgiving and it's kind of near and dear to my heart, I thought, okay, I'll come. I'll just figure it out. And of course, down to the wire, I'm still on calls. And I looked up and I was like, oh God, I have to get downstairs. So
Right,
here.
which is always part of my dilemma.
I know.
Because I want you to come on to the podcast, but then, Janine always floats in, 3-4 minutes before it's time to go live.
I'm here.
And, so I can't really prepare the way I would like to, but that's okay. We're live.
Mhm.
You guys are used to how it goes. Stuff happens. So we will give this a shot, see how it goes. I think, unfortunately, for a lot of the podcasts, Janine will be off camera, but you'll be able to hear her. This shot that we have right here is the one that, I can fit both of us onto the camera. But anyway, enough about all of that stuff.
That's right.
As you mentioned, this is our special episode where we are talking about Thanksgiving. It's right around the corner. Often I talk about, smoking a brisket kind of being the pitmaster's Super Bowl. But in all honesty, from a more kind of public perspective, or maybe in front of your family, your friends, folks coming over, really Thanksgiving is kind of the Super Bowl of home cooking.
That's right.
Because, Thanksgiving comes around, whatever time you've set for dinner, it's go time. So everything has to be prepared and ready to go.
That's right.
Or you're going to have a bunch of, disappointed folks. So I'm going to kind of change my way of thinking and start referring to Thanksgiving as the Super Bowl of home cooking. And because Thanksgiving, it's only 8 days away.
That's right.
So this is perfect timing. We're going to talk about how to fix the most common Thanksgiving mistakes. And on a lot of these things, we're going to do a deep dive on some of these topics because as I was preparing for the show, the more I got into it, the more I was like, oh, I really have to talk about this, or I really have to talk about that. I want you guys to have, as many tools, information, strategies, to be able to tackle Thanksgiving the best you can. We always talk about preparation being, really key to successful barbecuing, preparing in advance. So having some of these things at the forefront of your mind in terms of strategy, hopefully will help you guys out. So, but before we get too deep into it, and actually, let me also just say, so we're going to get into some things like, the skin problems with the bird, timing issues, whether your bird is cooking too fast or too slow. We're going to talk about flavor problems that you might run into. Let's see, we're also going to get into what else? Some moisture issues. If your bird is too dry or overcooked.
Can you save an I should probably wait for this question, but I really want to ask it. Can you save an overcooked bird?
I have some
Oh,
I have some tips,
okay.
some things that you can do if
Okay.
you get into that situation. We're going to talk about, what happens when you consider yourself to be in crisis mode. Don't panic. We'll have some
Pizza.
tips, for that as well. And then, we'll wrap it up with kind of like a rapid fire list of common things that you want to avoid. So this one's jam packed, definitely a master class in turkey preparation. So I'm glad you guys are here. As always, encourage and invite you all. Please jump on in the
Mhm.
comments,
Absolutely.
with your questions. I think most of them will probably be related to Thanksgiving, related to the preparation of the turkey.
Now, is it always going to be a turkey? Because, some people might think a turkey's too much to take on. What if you really want to do like a Cornish hen, or you just want to do a chicken? Will these rules apply to everything? So most fowl? I just
A lot of these things that we will talk about can apply,
Okay.
yes, to poultry,
Okay.
and then
Good.
also just barbecue in general. A
Okay,
lot of
good.
these things that we'll talk about are definitely universal, but we'll be talking about it really from the perspective, of the turkey,
All right.
because it's really
It's the
the
tradition.
the
I get
star
it.
of the show. So again, encourage you all to jump on in with your
Yeah,
comments, your questions.
absolutely.
And again, it doesn't have to just be about Thanksgiving or turkey. If you've got a burning question related to barbecue, feel free to put that in the comments as well. And I'll try and answer it. And if I don't have an answer, there's usually someone who's in the comments who probably does have a good suggestion.
That's
That
right.
is the type of helpful, supportive community that we have developed here on the podcast. So let me say hello to some folks.
Woohoo!
All right. We've got Correctional Officer for Lockdown who says hello. And let's see. So once again, a nice way to prepare for the weekend by listening to the awesome sounds of this awesome
Aw,
podcast. So we always appreciate your
that's right.
presence. And then we've got Jeff. We've got Jeff. So both Jeff and Correctional Officer are Backyard SmokeMaster
All
Society
right.
brothers. So always good to see you both. Correctional Officer says, salute the A team. Welcome back to Janine.
Yes, I am here.
You are indeed here. Absolutely. And good to have Jeff back as well. I
Mhm.
know Jeff has not been able to attend a few of the past live podcasts, but
Yeah.
he's here tonight. So that's what's important. Let's see. Janine is back. Now it's a party. See, you got fans.
Hey.
Okay, and then we've got Society Brother Mike who says greetings from Northern California.
That's right.
So good to see you guys. Let's see.
Mhm.
Correctional Officer says last year my wife threw the bird in the oven
Oh.
after I removed it too
Oh.
early. After about an hour being cooked in the oven, it was nice. I can't have this happen again. All right.
That's right.
We are going to get in some tactics to hopefully um, keep you or keep your wife
That's
from
right.
having to rescue the bird and put it in the oven. Turkey, roast, and Cornish hens
See?
are my planned
See?
cook so far. So
That's right.
that's an example of how Thanksgiving is the Super Bowl for correctional officer. He has got
Mm.
a loaded menu.
It sounds good too. So I'm
Yeah.
ready. A roast? Oh yeah. Mm.
All right. So we are going to get right into this. So
Mhm.
we're going to first talk about some tactics on how to fix rubbery, chewy, or pale skin.
Wow.
Okay. So, very first thing you want to do when you get that turkey out of the packaging is you want to pat the turkey dry.
Well, what kind of turkey is this? This is not a frozen turkey, right? This is thawed. Like maybe even start there, right? What are we really looking for?
Well, we'll get into like thawing, okay? But for this point
It's
that
already
we're
thawed.
at right now, yeah, we're assuming that the turkey, that it's no longer frozen.
Okay, so it could be fresh or it's just thawed out. We got you.
Yeah, and if it's fresh, I mean, kind of the same deal. We want to make sure that we pat it, completely dry before we apply any seasoning. Okay. And so here's probably the first controversial issue of the night. Okay. So I think we all can agree that if we really want to have a flavorful turkey, we should brine it, before it goes on the smoker or however you're going to cook it. But the question is, and let's get into the comments and see, which way you guys lean.
Mm-hmm.
Are you dry brine? Are you team dry brine or are you team wet brine?
Oh.
Now, I'm going to give you some reasons because I actually think most people are going to wet brine. I think that seems to be, I could be wrong, just my own unscientific surveying and observing what I typically see. And, I'm a guy that likes to look at what the other guys on YouTube, when they're making those videos, what their approach is. And it seems like the vast majority of them are talking about wet brining their turkey in advance. And I think that's probably what most of you are doing. But let me know in the comments if you are actually planning to do a dry brine.
And I wonder if everyone has even heard of that.
Well, I think, if you're a newbie,
mm-hmm.
you may not know of the difference or may not have thought about it. But I think most folks who, if you have a little bit of experience with barbecue, you know that, the difference between, wet brining and dry. I mean, basically it all involves salt, but the wet brine, you're going to submerge the turkey, maybe into like a briner bucket or like a large bucket, maybe put it inside of like a food safe bag. But yeah, what you basically want to do is submerge it, with water, salt, and then a lot of people might add a few other things, maybe some brown sugar and, some other spices. But I think the most important one is the salt.
Gotcha.
Whereas if you do a dry brine, and what we're basically going to be talking about here is that you dry brine strictly with salt initially before you add anything else to it. And we'll talk about why that's the case. And I know that we've had, friend of the show, Meathead. I know that he is a proponent of dry brining. And I have also been convinced that this is also the best way to go. So here's my tip. And like I said, let me know in the comments if you're team dry or team wet. But what you want to do is you want to dry brine for at least 24 hours. And the purpose really is that the salt is going to help pull moisture out of the skin.
So it's going to make the patting process that you talked about better.
Well, it won't make it better. I mean, basically what we all want, we want to avoid having rubbery, chewy skin.
Right.
So the way to do that is to have the skin be as dry as possible when it goes onto the cooker. So that's really why you're patting it dry in advance. And then if you think about it, wet brining, submerging that turkey in
just add some more.
the liquid, probably 24 hours. It's gonna be wet. It's gonna be really wet,
Right.
when it comes out of that solution.
Okay.
And not only, lends itself more to rubbery, chewy skin.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still gonna have to go through the process of trying to get the skin as dry as possible.
It also sounds kind of old school, right? It's the whole like submerging your turkey and, at least the dry brine. It seems more like a contemporary idea and it just seems cooler. Like, I don't know. For some reason, it just attracts, when you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I think that's probably what I would do.
Well, I suspect that dry brining came first.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't really know the history, but I mean, I'm just kind of, thinking about it.
Okay.
Salt has been around for a long time, and I
Right.
suspect that, people cooking figured out, that
If you salt
if
something,
you salt something,
preserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
So I think
Okay.
dry brining is probably the older
old school, but
that
that's
probably came
come
first.
back, but it's come back into.
Well, I just think that
Mhm.
there's always been the choice between the two.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it's ever going to be an either. Going to be just everyone doing it one way versus the other. I just think more people are probably wet brining these days than they
Gotcha.
are dry brining. So so Backyard SmokeMaster BBQ, we are encouraging you to go the dry brine route
This year.
Well, and then hopefully, if you do it this year, you'll want to do it more
Mm-hmm.
in the future. Okay. So, all right. So let's get more into, if you're going to do the dry brine, exactly how you do it.
Mm.
So you want to use half a teaspoon of kosher salt for every pound of turkey that you have. For example, if you have a 12-pound turkey, we're talking 6 teaspoons, which is the equivalent of 2 tablespoons. And so here I'm showing you, about how much salt you need, for 14-pound turkey, 16-pound turkey. You see it there on the screen. Okay.
Oh.
Now, we do have a salt recommendation for you. Not all salt is the same.
That's right.
So, I've heard this a lot. Diamond Crystal, that seems to be the pitmaster's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And good reason for it is that it is lighter and flakier. Whereas if you use Morton's, which tends to be more dense, than Diamond Crystal. So if you do go with Morton's, try and cut the amount of salt that you use by 25 to 30%. And then if you use table salt,
Which we're not recommending.
no, we're definitely not recommending. But I mean, sometimes you got to go with what you got.
True.
So if all you have is table salt, then, cut that amount by half.
Oof.
Okay, because otherwise your bird is gonna end up being a lot saltier, maybe than what you anticipated.
You might say a prayer for your turkey.
I mean, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm just saying, if you're not using Diamond Crystal, just make some adjustments.
Yes.
And I think you'll be okay. Okay, so when we're dry brining. At this stage, we're just using salt. No sugar, no rub. Okay, the rub can be added after the brine has done its job and the skin has dried out. Okay, and then when you're applying the salt, you want to apply it evenly. So hit the breast, the thighs, the legs, and don't forget to get under the wings.
So you're turning your turkey over and you're applying it everywhere. Is that right?
Well, I don't know that you necessarily have to get it on the backside.
Oh, you don't?
I mean, I guess you can. I mean, I don't know. Do most people consume
The back.
Again, we're focused like what I put on the screen. We're focusing on the breast,
All right,
the
fine.
thighs, the legs. So maybe you flip it over to get the backside of the legs.
I think so. I think you need to flip it. I'm not saying it lives that way, but I think so. If you want to get it under every part, I think you got to reach every part.
All right, you're getting real technical. Okay. So let it sit uncovered in the fridge for 24 to 48 hours. And what this does is that it pulls out the moisture. It allows the salt to absorb back into the meat. It helps dry out that skin even more for crispiness, because that's what we all want, right? Whenever we're doing any kind of poultry, we're all looking for kind of that crispy skin. And it also makes the turkey more forgiving during the cook. So these are all, reasons, why, I think you should do the dry brine.
Okay.
Plus, I think from a practical standpoint, I think it's a little less costly if you just, you're just doing the salt.
It also just seems easier.
Yeah, more straightforward.
Yeah.
More straightforward. And then what we want to do, again, to even help even more during the cook, is you want to run the smoker between 300 and 325 degrees, and that helps render the fat under the skin.
That sounds so good.
All right, let me see what we got going on.
Lots of comments.
Oh, let's see. A question from Raul's Barbecue. Can you pre-brine an already brined turkey?
Ooh.
So that's an interesting question. So, and it's funny, I guess before this week, I would have said no. I would have recommended that you don't want to brine a pre-brined turkey.
I see.
But I've heard some other folks. Maybe I saw it somewhere. Maybe it was Meathead. I think I was looking at an article by Meathead where he said something like, "It's okay."
You don't think it's going to be too salty?
Well, that in my mind, I think I think that's the reason why.
Yeah.
I think I would be concerned. But I don't know. I guess the theory or what I'm learning is that it probably won't be too salty. It's probably just not necessary.
Yeah.
If it's already been brined, then you really don't need to brine it again.
Yeah.
But don't know that it will absolutely make it too salty. I'm not really in my own kind of rudimentary research. I haven't found anyone or anywhere that indicates that it'll make it too salty. But that's a good question.
And I think Jeff started to answer it too, from his perspective.
Yeah. So Jeff said, I think so. The pre-brine turkeys seem to be pretty mild on salt. So I think Jeff is agreeing with what we're saying.
I think so.
That it's okay. And correctional officer says he's going to try a combo brine if possible. Okay, so I guess that means you're going to do both a wet brine and a dry brine.
That's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think that's more work, though. You're already working hard.
And you got like 3 proteins.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I think I'd be looking to try and
You're going to be so
simplify.
tired.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But I think it's a little extra.
Did you go to bed? No, I've been up for 24 hours.
But okay, yeah, I mean, you can try it. But yeah,
And I want to hear the
I think I
results.
would pick one or the other.
But don't you want to know what the
personally.
results were? I really do.
All right, well, we don't want to pick on correctional officer. He
We
says,
love him.
I'm going to inject the turkey with jerk seasoning.
Whew, that's going to be spicy.
Nah, that's probably going to be good.
Oh, you love spice.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I
Well,
just have to I have the palate of a 2-year-old. I can't take it.
I'm not mad at that. Here, hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna make that comment. The comment's a little bigger.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
All right, let's see. Mike says, does the dry brine method penetrate the skin of the bird? So yes. Yeah, the salt does penetrate the skin, and what it does is it pulls the moisture out of the skin. Correctional officer says, I'm going to brine for 48 hours. Okay. Not mad at that. Definitely, plan accordingly. Jeff says, I don't have a strong preference, but wet brine is most effective if you brine 2 days before the cook and allow it to dry in the fridge for 24 hours before the cook.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because like I said, obviously, if you do the wet brine, you're going to pull the bird out of it and the skin is going to be very wet. So I would totally agree. If you do decide to go the wet brine route, let it sit in the fridge for 24 hours to really help dry out the skin. Totally, absolutely. Okay. Let's see. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So let's see. We mentioned this. So we want to run the smoker at 300 to 325 degrees to render the fat under the skin.
Right.
And then what we're trying to do also, you want to avoid having excess moisture early. So try to avoid spritzing early on during the cook, and don't put a water pan directly under the turkey. So I know a lot of times when we're doing, brisket or a roast, we like to put like a water pan underneath to add humidity. I think with poultry, I know for me, I never use water when I'm doing any kind of poultry, and definitely with turkey, we don't want to do that either. So avoid the temptation of using a water pan. And if you do, don't put it directly under the bird. And then finish with a high heat blast if necessary to crisp it up. All right, so these are some initial tips in order to fix any potential skin problems.
That sounds good.
Okay, let's see. Why did I bring us both up on screen? Okay, I had to remind myself. I'm like a little lost. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm throwing you off.
Here's the reminder. Okay. And I think someone just liked the podcast, and that's absolutely what we need you to do to help us out in the algorithm. Please make sure, go ahead, take a moment now as we pause for the cause to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share the podcast. Share it right now. Let's help get those views up.
Well, plus it's topical. It's Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Hooray.
Very topical. All right. So now let's talk about how to fix some timing issues. Okay. So if it's cooking too fast or if it's cooking too slow. So if it's cooking too fast, first thing you want to do is drop the pit temperature. And this is kind of a common sense thing, but just know in your head, if it's out of control early on, drop that pit temperature down towards 225 degrees. And then another thing you can do is to shield the breast with foil. We want to protect the breast because we've all heard it. The white meat is too dry, and that could be because your bird cooked too fast or headed towards overcooking. And again, if you're in that situation, pull early, pull it from the cooker early, then rest in a cooler with a towel, a towel lined cooler to hold safely. You want to keep it at food safe temperatures until you're ready to serve. Okay. Now, if it's cooking too slow, so kind of the reverse, increase your pit temperature to 325 degrees, rotate the bird for even cooking. Okay. Now, here's one you probably haven't thought about. Midway through the cook, if it's cooking too slow and you're thinking, oh man, I'm never going to get this bird done on time, something you can do, kind of radical, but you can do it. You can pull that turkey off of the cooker, spatchcock it midway through the cook. I mean, it's going to be messy, but it has proven to be very effective. Okay. And, we always recommend use a probe thermometer to track internal temperatures rather than guessing. Please do not mess around trying to guess or think that you're good enough, cool enough to just look at that bird and know what temperature it is or how close it is to being done based on how it looks visually.
And I'm sure all your listeners and viewers know that we're talking about just the bird. Nothing in the bird, no dressing or anything like that, right? We're not trying to send anybody to the hospital. The dressing is being cooked separately. We're just talking the bird, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So there can be, you can put things inside the cavity of the bird, mainly like for aromatics. And then, to just kind of give it more volume.
Citrus or something like that, sure.
Yeah, onions, carrots, celery,
lemon,
things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like your dressing, I definitely recommend, like Janine said, cook it separate outside of the bird. I know I feel like, when I was growing up, saw that a lot.
They was always in the bird. And now I'm like, never.
The dressing being cooked inside of the turkey, and it was like, like a
stuffed.
Yeah, stuffed turkey, and they were so proud of it too.
And no thermometer in sight.
I wonder
Not even one.
How many of us, had the bubble guts, because of that.
But no thermometer either. I remember that. Not an electric one, not even an old school one. Just kind of like it looked like it was done. I guess it was done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and right now, this day and age, and we say it all the time, it's absolutely no excuse not to cook with a probe thermometer. You can get one, $20, instant read thermometer over on Amazon or whatever, and it'll get the job done. So that's a real easy fix. All right. Smoking alone? Not anymore, folks. This episode of the Backyard SmokeMaster BBQ Podcast is sponsored by me and my Backyard SmokeMaster Society. There are society brothers who are watching live right now. The society is where we keep the conversation going all week long with a supportive community, so you don't have to wait until the podcast to get your questions answered. You can jump into the society, show off what you're cooking, ask questions, and we're there to root each other on. So definitely encourage that. Correctional officer says, I am debating if I would use my acorn Kamado or go with my bread and butter drum barrel, which is my go-to favorite until I obtain my smoke slinger. My wife is nearby. Loud cosign needed. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I can say I am a happy owner of the Smoke Slinger.
×2.
And, well, one is, no, I mean, they're both made by Smoke Slinger, but one is an offset, and one is the Smoke Slinger itself. Um, working on a video. I've been slow getting a video out, but working on getting one out because I did do a cook with some chicken quarters
They were good.
this week, and I have to say, yeah, the Smoke Slinger, it's easy. I think the most challenging thing about it is learning and figuring out all the different ways that you can cook on it, because it presents a lot of different ways that you can set it up for cooking: direct heat, reverse flow cooking, offset style, whether you want to take the tuning plates out or leave them in, where to, just this of all types of different combinations. That's the hardest part, is deciding which is the best way to cook with it. But once you make a decision and actually start using it, it's pretty easy. I love how it comes up to temperature really fast, and adjustments are really easy to make, and holds temperature really well. And then once you get a few cooks under your belt, I think your confidence grows. So I can definitely recommend, and I see why there are a lot of people excited about the Smoke Slinger. Now, in terms of whether or not to use the acorn or the drum barrel, so this is the Super Bowl, right? So you want to put your best foot forward. So I would say go with what you are most comfortable cooking with.
Yeah.
You said, correctional officer, that it is your bread and butter. So I would definitely lean towards the drum if you feel like that's the one that you are most comfortable with, but you're cooking so many things. I kind of think you're going to be using both of them. Unless you plan to, kind of do a one protein at a time, or maybe two proteins. But if you want to do some simultaneous cooking while the turkey's on, you might want to break out the acorn and do a little multitasking. You're in a good position by having multiple grills to choose from. Jeff says, join the society. So definitely an endorsement there. Appreciate that, Jeff. And then correctional officer says, I'm definitely going to use my drum barrel for the roast and Cornish hens.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think definitely use your drum. And, if you do need to do a little multitasking, then break out, set up that acorn. I was kind of thinking you might want to do your turkey. See, I think what I would do would be the turkey and the Cornish hens on the drum. Because from my experience, drum barrels tend to want to cook hotter at hotter temperatures. So I think it'll probably be really easy for you to be in that 325, 350 range. And I think that'll be perfect, for your poultry.
Yeah.
And then, maybe use the acorn for the roast.
Well, and if he does,
I think that's how I would do it.
If he uses the drum smoker, he probably won't have to go into the oven because he'll be done.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obviously, one of the goals is to try to avoid a situation where we have to resort to the oven. Let your wife use the oven for the sides and that other stuff. But, and we'll get to this later on, if you do find yourself in crisis mode, the oven might come in handy.
Yeah, it's a friend.
So, yeah. All right. So let's now talk about how to fix some flavor problems. Fixing a bland turkey. And these are really things to do in advance, okay, to avoid having a bland turkey. So like we said earlier, dry brine heavily with kosher salt, or at least, follow the table that
Yeah.
we talked about earlier. I think it was half a teaspoon for every pound of turkey.
Mhm.
Okay. And then add a complimentary rub: herb, Cajun, sweet heat. Um, what do we had correctional officer said injecting with jerk, so those are all great strategies to make sure you don't end up with a bland turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Inject the breast with
Mm.
broth and butter and seasoning.
That sounds so good.
So that's an idea. We talked about this. You can add aromatics to the cavity.
Mm-hmm.
So onion,
There's my citrus. Yep.
herbs. Use a mild smoke, a mild sweet smoke during the cook. Remember, smoke is another ingredient,
Mhm.
so you don't want to overpower it. So we recommend something mild like apple or cherry, and maybe go no stronger than pecan.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the recommendation. I always get folks asking, what kind of wood should I be smoking with? So there's some suggestions on that.
And I kind of wonder, I think that a lot of people think, oh, okay, it's easier to find apple or cherry, but I think you can find pecan. Maybe you have to look for it a little bit, but it's out there, right?
Yeah, well, so it depends. So if you're talking wood chunks,
Mhm.
you can absolutely should be able and not have a problem finding, those types of wood chunks,
Mhm.
at your favorite hardwood store,
Or
Home
online.
Depot.
You even have like a good connection online.
I do for well, tell me. What is my good connection online?
Well, it might not be chunks, but at least it's access to pecan. Is it pellets?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about our friends at Smoking Pecan.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. So since you brought them up, let me see. So Smoking Pecan, those are the Backyard SmokeMaster's recommended pellets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me pull this up. If you have not tried Smoking Pecan yet, they do tend to cost a little bit more than like your Traeger or some other brands, but I think it's worth it
Mm-hmm.
because you'll find that they don't burn as quickly, in the auger of your pellet smoker as some of the others. And to try it out, you can save 10%. I've got a code that still works.
Good.
So if you go to their website, smokingpecan.com, enter Backyard SmokeMaster when you check out, and you'll save 10% off of your first order.
All right.
All right, so now I got to go back and see where were
Well, we were talking about some aromatics. We were
Yeah.
talking about, things that we would use. And you were talking about a little bit of wood, cherry, and whatnot.
Right. So yeah, you can get your wood chunks are pretty easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace
Walmart.
Hardware. Yeah, even Walmart.
Absolutely.
Walmart is a good, they've got pretty good barbecue accessory stuff.
Even in the winter.
Yeah, all year long.
Mm-hmm.
All year long. Okay, so again, let me just mention, right now, we're just looking at the Backyard SmokeMaster Society. And inside of the society, if you become a member, did I mention that it's free to join? Because it is. If you join, you can get in there and you can get resources like this. We've got the ultimate guide to smoking the perfect Thanksgiving turkey. So that's got a lot of the tips that we've talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to put a couple of more resources based on the lesson that we're giving today. I'm going to have Crystal work on a couple more things, and they will be placed inside of the barbecue resources section of the Backyard SmokeMaster Society. And then you see we've got some other tidbits too to help you out. 11 foolproof steps to smoky perfection. If you're doing your brisket, we've got, some pointers on doing ribs and just some other things. So here to support, here to inspire, here to help. So take a moment and join the society. And let's see, Bruce, correctional officer.
I think he had a question around the mesquite, and when you were talking about the different woods, and maybe not with poultry, right? That's a tough one.
All right. Well, okay. Well, first, he was hyping up the society. So let me get to that first. The society is very helpful and will help you level up your barbecue game.
Yeah.
And I think he already knows the answer to this. I think that's why he's got the smiley face, because he's heard me talk many times about, the being weary of using mesquite.
Yeah.
So, for this cook, I would say stay away from mesquite. I think that's probably the most powerful of the common woods that are out there. So I would say, you don't want to overpower your turkey with a really strong smoke ingredient like mesquite. So I would stay away from that. But he already knew.
He knew. That. He knew.
But see, you took the bait.
I did. But that's okay.
All right. Now let's get into how to fix moisture problems. Okay. So we're talking situations where you have dry or overcooked turkey. So starting off, if parts of your turkey are drying out during the cook, one of the first things you can do is foil the wings, the tips, or the breast to help slow down the cooking. Add butter underneath the skin.
So basically put some fat in there. Butter is fat.
Well, butter is fat. I think to me, fat is more, when you talk about fat like that, to me, that's more of a flavor type of a thing.
This is just to get the moisture back.
Yeah, I think this is to help with the moisture.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe the fat has something to do with it. I don't know. For me, it's not that deep. It's just, put some butter under the skin. It's gonna melt, and it'll help. Butter helps everything.
It
right?
Sure does.
Okay, and then rotate so the breast faces away from the hottest part of the cooker. Because again, we don't want the breast to dry out.
Can you do that in a drum though?
Well, so in a drum, your heat source is going to be underneath. So
you have to turn.
I kind of think probably not.
Okay. You don't think you could turn it in some way?
Well, I think this is more, when we're talking about facing it away from the hottest part of the cooker, I'm thinking more like an offset.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, like in a pellet grill or a drum, where your heat source is coming from the bottom, this doesn't quite apply. Okay, so kind of depends on what cooker you are using. If you're doing maybe if you're in a kettle, or if you're doing a 2-zone cooking, maybe you're turning the breast further away from where the heat or where the coals are set up from.
So you may be able to do the first 2 tips, which is to foil and to add the butter, but you might not be able to rotate depending upon what method you're using to cook.
Yeah,
Okay.
it depends. I mean, all of these are different, different tactics that you can take on. You don't necessarily have to do all of them. We're just trying to give you,
Enough tips.
give
Yeah.
you some tips,
Yeah.
to take on, if you do find yourself running into this issue.
Gotcha.
Okay, so correctional officer says, I usually have a zone set up in my drum barrel.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. So, how do you have a zone setup? Is it that you have? I know that you can have multiple levels of grates. You can have you have your upper grates, and you can have grates underneath that.
Right.
Maybe that's what you mean.
Mm.
And yeah, one would be hotter than the other. So maybe if you're able to monitor the temperature of each of the grate levels inside of the drum, and then you know which one is hotter than the other. So yeah, I'm curious, is that what you mean by a zone setup inside of your drum barrel? Okay. Let's see. So next, again, if parts are drying out during the cook, you can spritz lightly with broth or apple juice after the skin sets. Now, this is interesting. Okay, he says, I will have my charcoal on one side rather than spread the entire barrel. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know when I think of drums, most of the time, you're usually just, filling up. Maybe there's a charcoal basket or something, and, you're just filling it up. But correctional officer is saying that he sets it up so that he's got coals, maybe on half of the bottom of the barrel instead of the entire barrel. So that's pretty interesting and pretty tactical. So that would work. So that would then allow him to make some maneuvering, I think, in terms of having the zones. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. Okay. Now, if your bird is already overcooked, Janine groans. My goodness. Okay, so if it's already overcooked, this is not, all is not lost. There's still some things that we can do, okay? But the first thing we want to do is make sure that we rest it fully before slicing. And what does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked, Janine. That means...
What does that mean?
Yeah, that means you're going to let it rest, your turkey rest for at least 20 to 30 minutes. And then you can go up to 45 minutes, because that's even better if you can spare the time.
Yeah. Does that lock in the juices, if there are any left?
Well, I'll tell you why. A longer rest helps an overcooked turkey. So it helps because the muscle fibers are tighter, when it's overcooked. The juices are pushed outward.
Yes.
And slicing too early causes those remaining juices to run out instantly, once you start slicing into it.
And dry your bird out even more.
Right. That's right. So a longer rest gives the meat time to relax and absorb, whatever moisture is left. Okay, now let's talk about how to rest an overcooked bird the right way. Okay, so what we want to do is let it rest uncovered. And what you absolutely don't want to do is don't tint it tightly with foil, because that will basically just
Cook it some more.
cook it some more.
Poor
It'll
thing.
steam the turkey, and yeah, it'll keep cooking.
And all that skin we tried to get all crisp will just get mushy. Oh.
Janine is hurt, the idea of this overcooked turkey. So at most, lightly drape it with a piece of foil just to prevent the heat loss, but to help keep it loose. Okay. And rest breast side up on the cutting board. This helps to redistribute juices down into the breast meat.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty smart. Okay.
Now, if you are holding for more than 45 minutes, put the turkey in a dry cooler, no ice, with a towel underneath, and with the lid cracked. So we don't want to have it be fully closed. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So let me see. What do you guys think? Never really. Okay, I guess some guys did comment on whether or not they were team dry versus team wet.
Yeah, a couple of comments.
Yeah. So let us know. Let us know in the comments, though, as we go through this, if you guys, again, have any questions, about this, or, if there are other, there's something other than just turkey and whatnot, make sure you get those questions in as well. All right. But now let's talk about what happens when you find yourself in crisis mode. Okay, so all right, so it's dinner time, and crisis mode basically means your turkey is undercooked. It's 5 o'clock. Folks are there.
5 o'clock? That's too late.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I just made up a time.
No, that's way too late.
Okay. With turkey at dinner time. Okay, so what time? What's the appropriate time?
It should probably be
dinner?
Like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, because people want to eat. They want to watch the TV. The games are on. They want to have some dessert. They want to go back to eat again.
Let me know. Okay, let me know in the comments what time should dinner be scheduled?
Yeah, 5 o'clock, way too late.
Turkey.
Way
for your
too
turkey,
late.
Your Thanksgiving dinner. Is 5 o'clock
That's
too
late?
Too late?
You're inviting the older people. They want to eat and get going. It's getting dark.
So Janine is talking about 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
So that just puts more pressure.
That's right.
On you, the pit master.
Especially if you're already in crisis mode. Now you're really going to be, because people want to eat at 2 o'clock.
That means you probably need to get up at the crack of dawn, trying to get this bird done.
That's right. That's why Bruce will be up for 24 hours.
Time.
He got 3 proteins.
This is why, see, I'm going to be doing some briskets for sale. If you're in the East Bay, head on over and order a brisket. For pickup the day before Thanksgiving. I'm going to throw one on for us.
Yeah.
I do have a turkey on the way that should get here tomorrow.
Can't wait.
But listening to Janine talk, I don't think I'm going to do my turkey on Thanksgiving.
I hope you do.
It has to be ready by 2 o'clock.
Okay, so if you don't do the turkey,
that is too much pressure.
Then maybe do some Cornish hens like Bruce. I need something that has some breast meat and some dark meat to go with some gravy and some, cranberry sauce. Come on now.
No. So Jeff is in here in the comments instigating. Just do what you're told. So no. But let me go back, okay? Because Jeff said if you have an overcooked or dry turkey, slice a little thinner and baste with warm chicken stock then lots of gravy.
That
All
works.
right,
That could work.
that's a good suggestion.
It's a great one.
And then, oh my God, teach Janine. Yeah, that's right. I think he's saying that you need to be taught.
No, he's saying go ahead and teach Kenyatta. That's right, because we all know nobody's eating at 5 o'clock. That might be your second plate or your third plate or your to-go plate, but it is not your first plate.
All right. Moving on. Correctional officer said, I removed the turkey last year at 4 p.m. My wife's family members who stayed over were up past midnight.
Yeah, but they were doing other things. They were probably,
That's right.
drinking, watching the
that's
TV.
Right. That's also
playing
part
games.
of the experience.
That's right. Bonding.
That's right. Folks should be bonding.
Yeah, but
it's not just about.
It is though. The food is so important.
Getting the food on.
It is
putting all that pressure.
It is.
On the poor guy.
People arrive hungry.
It might be raining.
Those hors d'oeuvres are not going to last that long.
Outside, you have to have compassion.
People are drinking beers and wine.
Right.
They need something to go with that. They need some food.
They're good.
Real food.
They're good.
The food that they can smell. That's not ready yet because you're having a crisis and you're behind.
I think 2 o'clock is not.
2 o'clock is right on time.
You should not be promising anything.
Absolutely. It should be
2 o'clock.
Between 2 and 3 o'clock, no later.
All right. Yeah. Kenyatta will not be.
I know this. See, I know you.
Doing a turkey. Kenyatta's turkey will be done.
When it's done. That's what he usually tells me.
Probably on the day after Thanksgiving while Janine is out shopping.
Yeah, I do like to get out.
So, okay, let me get back. Getting wildly distracted.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. Where were we?
Yes. Oh, look at that. Another tip.
Okay, so again, if we're in crisis mode, the turkey is undercooked at dinner time. Mm-hmm. A couple of things you can do is you can remove the legs and thighs and cook them separately.
Yeah.
So I know, that kind of, it's time to put the ego aside, and you just got to do what you got to do and make the best of it. So yeah, your turkey's you're not going to get that great picture for the gram of your whole turkey.
No, but it'll still have the smoke flavor because it was on the smoker. It will be cooked all the way through. And they will have, turkey to eat.
All right. And then another thing you can do is slice off breast slabs. Mm-hmm. Okay. And finish quickly. And here it is. Dare I say, finish quickly in a 350-degree oven.
It's still your friend, especially in a crisis.
And it gets better.
No, now that I don't believe in. Now that one I don't think I would turn to.
If you have to, if 2 o'clock, okay, this is perfect. 2 o'clock rolls around, Janine is furious. She wants her turkey.
I am not furious, I'm just hangry.
And that turkey is, hangry. And that turkey is not cooked yet. Kenyatta has permission to microwave small pieces.
I would not give you permission to do that. We would just have to wait a little longer.
So it's not ideal, but it can be a lifesaver. That's right.
No, don't do it.
That's right.
Don't listen to that.
Okay. Turn underdone portions into next day dishes.
Oh, that's good. I believe in that 100%.
And I would say, these are good things to do with your leftover turkey as well. Turn it into soup, gumbo, enchiladas. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah. Also, let us know how do you repurpose? What do you guys do with all that leftover turkey?
Do you freeze it? Because I believe in that too.
I don't think I want my turkey to go into the freezer.
Okay.
Wow. I'm not even sure if I've ever even had cooked turkey that was frozen.
Oh, okay.
So if you've
I
had
even
that,
had.
if anybody, have you had that? How was that?
Is that like so that's your line in the sand, and the microwave is definitely mine.
Oof,
That's how
okay.
I feel about the microwave.
Nah, I think you worked too hard
That's
to
right.
put that turkey
That's
in
right.
the freezer.
And see, that's exactly how I feel about the microwave. You work too hard to microwave it. Oh, Lord.
Okay, how important is it to pay attention to the indicator
Oh,
that comes with the turkey and is plugged in? Okay, so you're talking about the like the little pop up.
yeah.
Okay, so okay, I think I can't believe we didn't mention this.
Mm.
Um, don't go by that.
No.
Yeah, don't go by that. Matter of fact, take that and throw it away.
Yeah, you got a digital thermometer.
Yeah, go with your digital thermometer, your instant read thermometer. Don't rely on any of the stuff that comes with the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely don't do that. All right, got so excited I missed a few of these. Okay. That's right, Jeff. It sounds like Janine is getting Popeyes at 2:00. That's right. That's right.
See? Oh, hell no on the microwave. See? Speaking to my people. That is a
I'm
letdown.
just saying.
Oof.
If the significant other is over there giving you hell because your turkey's not ready and it's undercooked, microwave to the rescue.
That's why I think I'm going to adopt Bruce's philosophy, because he's got 3 proteins. One of them is going to be ready on time. Guaranteed.
All right. One last reminder, join the new and free Backyard SmokeMaster Society. Again, that's where we get to keep the fun conversations and arguments going all week long.
It's all love.
But we love and support each other in our barbecue journey. So It only takes a few moments. And did I say it is
Free.
free? Okay, let's get into this. Common mistakes to avoid, all right? The first big one, and we're going to actually do a little bit of a deep dive on this, is not giving yourself enough thaw time. So the refrigerator thaw rule is basically you want to give yourself 24 hours of thaw time for every 4 to 5 pounds of turkey.
So if your turkey's like 12 pounds, you need about 3 days. Ooh, you better get started soon.
That's right, Janine. That's right.
How big is our turkey?
We're showing it on the screen. So another recommendation is to actually try not to get the biggest turkey you see.
That's right.
So the one that I ordered should be I think it's going to be between 10 and 12 pounds.
Okay, that's perfect.
And if for that size, give yourself 2.5 to 3 days.
Okay.
And then we've got some other examples here. We're going to make a resource out of this table as well, and that's going to be available inside of the society. We'll have that up hopefully within the next few days. For instance, if you have a 16 to 18 pound turkey, you need to give yourself 4 to 4.5 days to thaw. So again, the planning is so important, and you need to work backwards, starting from, 2:00 p.m. when you have to have that finished turkey ready to go.
And it's not coming from Popeyes.
So you got to start there and then start counting backwards, based on how long you think the turkey's going to take to cook, and then just factoring in all of it, starting with, the time you need in order to thaw the turkey.
So if you're having a pretty big gathering, would you suggest, since I see you kind of say heck no on the 20-pound plus turkey, would you suggest then that someone get 2 10-pound turkeys so that they can kind of thaw at the same time, at the same pace, and then you just put them on your smoker together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, that last bullet there where it says if you're thinking about getting a 20-pound turkey or larger, just don't even do that. Don't do that. Instead of getting a 20, 24-pound turkey, get two 10-pound turkeys, two 12-pound turkeys.
Yeah.
And then, you can thaw them out in less time.
It's reasonable.
And it'll be a lot more manageable to cook.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really the reasoning.
Can you put two
behind
turkeys into a drum smoker, or would you have to have two drum smokers, you think?
Well, it depends. Depends on how big it is.
Like you have Hundsakers. Will they fit two? Or just one each?
I mean, theoretically, I could put, one on the top grate and one on the lower grate.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't cook mine that way.
Okay, gotcha.
I'd use a different, a different cooker.
Gotcha.
But that's just me, and because I do have some choices out there.
Only like 10 of them.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But that's but again, that's why that's why the benefit of having multiple smokers. So I hope correctional officers
and his wife is
listening. This is why you need more
That's
than
right.
one. We've talked about this extensively.
That's right. So
you
all the
need
proteins
to have more than one cooker.
Right. So the proteins can all cook at the same time, and you're not waiting past 2 and 3 o'clock for your proteins.
Then there's just different styles of
That's right.
cooking. So the guys that are serious about this barbecue thing, we want to tackle different cooking styles and approaches, and you need different tools in order to get the job done.
Makes sense.
All right, now back to this turkey or this Popeye situation.
Oh my goodness,
Janine
it's
might
out of
have to
control.
get. So, Popeyes has turkeys too.
Oh no.
I do. And I've been tempted to order one.
I will not let him order one.
Yeah, I see those both Popeyes,
and
KFC.
No.
I've never had turkey from either one of them.
No. Fast food turkey? Okay.
Well, see, if I'm not mistaken, I think they are talking about doing what's it
like
called?
A rotisserie almost?
It could be deep fried. And then I think maybe Popeyes is just doing like a Cajun.
I think it is too.
Turkey or something.
I
don't know. I haven't been paying a lot of attention.
But don't you think it's probably expensive? Like you could probably do it so much cheaper on your own. I just think you're going to overpay for something that you don't need to overpay for. And this is kind of a tough economy. So it wouldn't be my recommendation, but that's just me.
I mean, it's an option.
Yeah, it is an
I
option.
can't speak to whether or not it's any good or not.
Don't sneak it in.
I'm kind of curious, now that we're talking about it.
You're just hungry.
No, I am curious. I wish somebody, I don't think I would ever bring myself to buy one. I wish someone I knew would buy one and then I could try it.
Fair enough.
I think that would be something I'd want to do. Okay. All right, let's continue. So, important tips. Okay, so again, we're talking about thawing. So, things to keep in mind. Okay, so we want to keep it in the original packaging. Place it in a pan or tray to catch any leaks. Once thawed, the turkey is safe in your fridge for 1 or 2 more days before you cook it. And then always thaw in the fridge. So
don't set it on the counter.
Yeah, don't thaw.
Don't put it in the sink.
Temperature. Okay, let's remember we want to stay safe. All right, keep it safe. Want to avoid food poisoning. Now, if you do need it faster, you can use the cold water method, where you submerge the turkey, but it's still sealed in cold water. You have to make sure you change the water out every 30 minutes. So that water has to remain cold. And think that it takes about 30 minutes for every pound. So if you have a 14-pound turkey, it's going to take about 7 hours. All right, let's see.
You're being trolled, or maybe I'm being trolled.
That's right, because nobody is feeling you in this insistence. I haven't seen anyone in the comments say, yeah, we're planning on having our dinner at 2 o'clock.
That's right.
I have not.
Especially for the older folks.
No one has co-signed on that.
Oh, well, it's a good goal anyway.
But you see, guys, see what I'm dealing with here? The unreasonable expectations.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Now let's get into some rapid fire common mistakes to avoid. Okay. So skipping the dry brine, starting your cook with wet skin. I think this is what Bruce was asking about.
Oh, yeah.
Relying on pop-up timers. Okay. Using too much smoke or an overly harsh wood.
Like mesquite. Yeah.
Not probing the thickest part of the breast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Carving immediately instead of resting. And that's a rule for anything and everything, not just turkey. So again, for the overeager wives that don't want to wait, again, resting is critical. Leaving everything to the last minute.
That's right.
That's how you get into big time trouble, and there's no way you'll be able to have that turkey done by 2 o'clock.
That's right.
Buying a giant turkey instead of 2 smaller birds. Okay. And forgetting to remove the
giblet bag.
And
how are you going to make gravy if it's in there still stuck?
Right. All right, you guys. So hopefully you got like some good information, some good tactics, strategies on how to approach your turkey cook, things to do, things not to do, things to implement, in case things go wrong.
And lots of support.
Lots of support, but, just try and, keep these things in mind. Like I said, we're going to put some checklists, a couple of checklists based on today's episode into the resources section of the Backyard SmokeMaster Society. And then also, so get out there, again, I want you all to win your Super Bowl of cooking. If you're in the society, share some pictures of your cook.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Let us know how it goes, your lessons learned, your victories. Want to see it all. And, if you have any questions, additional comments after watching this show, please shoot them over to me. Love hearing from you guys. All right. Oh, wait, let's see. Bruce says, my wife is upstairs. I wanted her to hear the part about not slicing the turkey too soon. Yeah. And remember, even when you aren't able to watch us live, you can always watch us on the replay. And then also our episodes are available, the audio version in the podcast.
That's right.
On your favorite podcast platforms. All right. So we won't be live next week, but we'll be back on Wednesday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So I would like to thank my lovely wife, Janine,
Aw.
for joining me today. She always brings, like an unexpected form of levity and unpredictable, kind of like a hurricane roaring through here with stuff that I wasn't anticipating having to combat, like the 2 p.m. The 2 p.m. deadline.
I got some love from Jeff. He agrees.
Yeah, Jeff says,
That's right.
I think 2 p.m. is a good time to eat.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking,
More like 3.
Yeah,
But for you, it'd be 4.
3 is more reasonable.
All
Maybe
right, I'm okay with 3.
3:30.
But as long as we're gonna, it can't be 5 o'clock. That's just not acceptable.
It was the first thing that popped into my head. But all right. No, there's no back here. All right. On the Backyard SmokeMaster BBQ Podcast, get out there, enjoy your grills and smokers, have a very fantastic and happy, joyous, festive Thanksgiving, and we will see you back here in 2 weeks.
That's right.
2 weeks. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.